right? You just got to keep doing what you're doing, believe in what you're doing, be honest about what you're doing, and work hard, and things will come. Yeah. There is no shortcut. My name is Brent Rose, and I am one of the founding partners of Black & Rose.
Okay, welcome to T.O.A. Storytellers, everybody. My name is Todd Olivas. I'm joined by Rick Castro.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. On this podcast, in addition to being a court reporting agency, of course, we bring you work comp news and interviews like today, so you can be informed about what's happening in the work comp industry and hear amazing stories directly from the mouths of the luminaries themselves. This podcast is sponsored by Todd Olivas & Associates Court Reporting. If you have a deposition, please check us out at our main website, toddolivas.com. Or if you need CEUs or MCLEs, please check out toddolivas.com/register for our latest webinar or seminars. Or if you just want to listen to this podcast, leave us a kind review, and that's much appreciated. Okay, on today's podcast, we have Mr. Brent Rose, founding partner at Black & Rose. Since 2003, Black & Rose has provided strategic legal advice and services to help employers minimize the risk of litigation through effective workplace strategies. So, Mr. Brent Rose, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Super excited.
I'm super pumped too.
Yep.
You know what? I've always wondered this about your firm, and that is that I always thought Black & Rose, the name, could either be like an upscale steakhouse, a tattoo parlor, or a law firm. So, why did you pick law firm?
You know, it's funny. It's funny. We get a lot of English pub too. That's,
yeah.
It's Black & Rose, an English pub. Actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is an English pub, and I think it's up in the Bay Area called Black & Rose.
Really?
So,
wow. I think of a rock band.
Yeah, you know, it's just the simple answer is it's just the names we were born with.
Awesome.
I know. It's not very exciting.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on any area that you feel like sounds good, but let me just jump in with what makes you and Jim Black a good partnership?
You know, that's a great question. It's very interesting. It's much like a marriage when you're in business with somebody this long, right? I mean, we've been doing this a long time together, and I think it's really sort of the yin and yang sort of thing that we have. You know, we're definitely a much different personality.
Yeah.
I'm super sort of in your face. Let's go. Let's roll up the sleeves and go. And Jim is probably a little bit more kind of thinks about things a little bit more. So I think that we play off of each other so well. Like we have certain roles in the firm, and I'll do one thing and he does the other thing, and we really don't cross paths. So I think if you had two personalities that were sort of going at the same thing at the same time, I think you create a lot of
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a marriage, right? You know, if you and your wife are sort of, or spouse or significant other or whatever, if you're, you know, sort of both striving to do the same thing, you're going to butt heads. You know, it's like you got to take up certain roles. So honestly, I couldn't ask for a better partnership. I really couldn't. I mean,
cool.
I don't even consider Jim like a partner. I consider him a brother at this point.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've seen his kids grow up, born, wife, you know, you know, we've had the ups and downs together, and you know, he's in my circle. So
I love it.
Yeah, cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll have him on here too to see if all that's true or not.
Yeah. See, the feeling's mutual.
Well, I think the on-air and off-air answers are going to be probably much different.
Right.
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah, we have a great partnership. It's easy. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, I always said in a joking way, like, if partnerships were so great, how come God doesn't have a partner?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Solo entrepreneur. No, okay. So I would love just to hear. So you mentioned a wife and a family.
Yep.
And I saw them on your LinkedIn page. Beautiful family.
Yep.
There's a whole beach theme too on your website. There's beach pictures, all kinds of stuff. Are you guys surfers?
Well, let's see. I used to be a surfer a lot, so to speak. Now I surf every once in a while.
Yeah.
My son is definitely, he probably surfs like about every day at this point in his life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So he's
which beaches is he hidden?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised Huntington Beach.
Okay.
He just recently went away to college down in San Diego, so he's got a whole new beach set down there. But
nice.
You know, before Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
And so
Bolsa Chica. That's
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, he just kind of picked up where I guess my age left off, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, the reason why I was asking because I had noticed all that, but also in our little for my 50, I'm 50 years old now. I know I look much older, but I'm 50 years old, and I decided I needed to add something new to my mix this year that I've never tried, never done. So I took a surf lesson.
Okay.
One time, fell in love with it, fell down the rabbit hole, or the surfer pipes
Nice.
hole, and now I've got my own board. Rick's got a board, and so we've been going out. Even Jonathan's going to get one too, our other guy.
Nice.
And so we've been
It's a good team building.
right there. Yeah,
Oh.
we did it
Yeah.
as a team building. So then we did a lesson together,
Okay.
and then now just kind of going out there.
Well, the waves are good today, by the way. So,
Really?
Yep.
We might go after
absolutely.
this.
We got to get you back out there.
I surfed yesterday.
You did?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Where?
cool.
Yeah, Huntington Beach.
I was out there yesterday too.
Yeah, right at Huntington Street. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. So
Hey, have you ever been stung by a stingray?
I have.
Me too.
I have twice.
How's it feel?
It did not feel good.
Sucks
It did
so
not
bad.
feel good the first time. The second time. The first time I think I was in high school or middle school. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I was a lot tougher back then, right? So this time it was
doesn't
probably about 6 years ago, I guess, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That one didn't feel good.
Mine was about 6 days ago. I got stung. First time ever.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you?
All of a sudden, I jump off the board and I thought, oh my God, I step on a nail, look down, blood coming out. And I'm like, and then this pain radiating through my whole leg. Like,
Oh.
that was no nail. And
Yeah.
then one of the other guys, oh, dude, you got totally stung.
Did you
For
do
sure.
the heat, the hot water,
Yeah, the
and all
hot
that
water
good stuff? Yeah.
The hot water really helped
Yep,
it.
It does.
So,
You got to shuffle, man.
yeah,
It's called the shuffle.
Yeah.
I know.
Stingray shuffle.
I know.
I think I'm the only one out there in our team building that's shuffling because I'm scared. I'm
Yeah.
like, I definitely don't want that.
You
Don't. You got to do the
scare
Yeah.
shuffle. If you don't do the shuffle, you're gonna get hit.
Isn't that life in general? You got to like shuffle. You got to like prove you're there,
Test
right?
your waters.
Test the waters.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, okay.
So I've been in this business for a decent amount of time at this point, and your court reporting services, for lack of a better word, we haven't used significantly in the past, and I think that trend is changing. Tell me just a little bit about like when Todd Olivas started and things like that, because honestly,
This is cool.
I'm kind of curious because I don't know that much about it. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, I'm just coming on here and, kind of making it sound like we don't have any kind of relationship. We do, but I'm just kind of curious a little bit how
love it.
and why you got into that.
Over 50 podcasts, nobody's ever turned the tables and asked anything basically about us. I appreciate it. I'll make it very short though, because I want
Sure.
this to be about you.
Sure.
But like, I started out in the mailroom of a court reporting agency, having no idea what even a court reporter was. This is like early 90s. And I had long hair. I just wanted to be in a band, a rock band. I love music. And so I needed something to kind of do that would go somewhere probably. And so I decided, you know what? I'm in the mailroom. I'm checking out these checks that were going out to the court reporters, like these huge checks, thousands of dollars, and I'm making minimum wage. So just until my rock stardom dreams could come true, I decided I'm going to go to court reporting school, and I did. I enrolled, and I fell in love with that too. That was a super cool skill. You got to be, it's really challenging. You got to be as you know,
Sure.
200 words a minute, state certified.
Yeah.
Took me forever. But I fell in love with it, loved it, and decided in my own mind, you know what, I'm kind of entrepreneurial too. When I want to start my own agency. So I got licensed in 1999 as a certified court reporter, and I worked freelance for a couple years. And then in 2003, same year as you guys were,
Okay.
doing the startup, from my one-bedroom crappy little apartment in Costa Mesa behind an El Pollo Loco, a little fast food joint on Bristol and Baker in Costa Mesa. It was like
Yeah.
I know exactly where that.
bottom
I know
Yeah.
exactly where that is.
You
Yep.
do?
I do 100%.
Those little blue apartments behind that El Pollo Loco on that corner.
I know exactly what it is because I take she just got her license like a couple months ago, but I
Yeah.
drive down Bristol towards that direction to drop her off at school.
Right.
Almost every day I did. So I know exactly where you're
You're a
talking
local
about.
native, so I can't gotta make sure all my facts. But yes, that's where I started. I started with zero, nothing. No clients needed another court reporting agency either, right? There's plenty of them out there.
Sure.
So, but I just printed up some business cards and just started marketing and learned about the workers' comp industry along the way. And that was 18 years ago now, and we just grown through clients like, great law firms like you guys and a lot of TPAs and stuff. And we decided to focus on the work comp niche just because we know a lot of people now and we love it. And I think there's a great need for it. How we have decided to, have ourselves stand out a little bit from our competitors, because there's some great competitors out there, and we realize that. And so we've started offering education, CEUs, MCLEs, attorneys and clients and TPAs and such like that. So, and podcasts.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So when's the last time you actually did a deposition?
I was asked that. I think it was 2004.
Oh my gosh.
I know, that's forever ago.
Yeah.
And I miss it. I love the skill of it. I'm still licensed. I keep the license up, of course. But I just decided, there's a fork in the road. I could either build the agency side, do that, or I could be in the trenches and have a smaller agency. And I just decided to switch over.
Good for you. That's interesting.
Hey, let me turn it back on you. When do you still take files yourself?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh, you have a depo today.
Fortunately, I'm a actively
practicing
attorney. Yes.
You have to get out of here at a certain point too, because you got to get to your next depo.
I do have a deposition today. It's very exciting. I like depos. The one thing about depositions, I tell my partner this all the time. I would probably do every single deposition in my firm every day if I could, because I just love the deposition so much. Yeah. It's the work that you do, and I'm sure you've heard this before, the work you do after the depositions, the depo summaries. You sort of, you're entrenched in the deposition and you're doing the deposition, you're prepared and you're asking all these questions and so on and so forth.
Right.
And then you relive it by sort of, doing the deposition summary and spewing it out sort of afterwards. And I think
it's the homework side that sucks.
It is. It's the homework side of it, because you're literally just sort of going through and rehashing it. But, that's just the nature of the business, until you guys come up with some way to give us some sort of depo summaries. That's just what we're going to have to do.
I've always thought about it in these terms, like we're supposed to be neutral third parties, right? Mm-hmm. So how would it work for a court reporter to summarize the salient points, pick out the nuggets of what's important to you guys' side of the case?
Right, but you try to do on your depo summaries, in my opinion at least, is we really focus on just that is sort of the objective summary. Mm-hmm. So we provide our clients with an objective summary of the entire deposition, and then we also accompany that with a letter that gives sort of our analysis and our thoughts and where we think the case is going to be going.
Supplemental to the summary.
Yeah, so a summary we just do is very objective. The applicant lives at X, his driver's X, what, it's just very whatever the question and testimony sort of was, and then we also provide sort of a summary and our analysis and sort of our recommendations on next steps. Because, look, our philosophy is if you're not providing a value to the client, then you're really not really doing much. Let's face it. You can regurgitate information and pass it along, but if you're not giving them some sort of value in your opinion, then it's kind of pointless. So
right.
That's our big focus, is we want to make sure that every time we're providing something to our client, what's our value? Like, what value are we giving them? We always sort of keep that in the back of our minds.
And those summaries today are being done manually, like in person, like you're dictating stuff?
I'm dictating them.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I know.
It could still be the 70s or 80s in that sense, right? Dictating into a cassette and then a secretary.
A lot of people who are more skilled at typing probably do theirs on the fly, their depo summaries, so to speak, during the depo. Yeah. Their summaries, but I just don't have that skill. I am super old.
You're not that old.
And
what about the speak to talk?
I still use a pen and a piece of paper for my depositions. But no,
number 2 pencil.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But no, we dictate them out, and
it's obviously working. I checked out your website today, and you got, I don't know how many attorneys are on there, like 15, something like that.
I think we have 20 attorneys. We got to update our website. We have 20 attorneys, and then a couple paralegal, or one paralegal right now, 2 paralegals, and a lean person who's amazing. Yeah.
So in this day of, Ricky, were you going to say something?
No.
In this day and age now, kind of post-COVID, the new normal, whatever it means, how are you dealing with depositions, client interactions, meetings, that kind of stuff. But we're all still remote in a lot of ways.
So now I think, hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, it appears as though we're somewhat turning a corner with regards to client interaction, meetings, things of that nature in person. We did a lot, obviously, over the shutdown, lockdown, whatever you want to call it. Zoom,
right,
or WebEx, or whatever platform you want to use. Depositions are still pretty much over, some sort of internet base, I guess, so to speak. I mean, I'd say 95% of them are probably still that way. I mean, you guys could probably tell me a better statistic.
We say 95.
Every once in a while, I do push to try to do them in person. There's some of those depositions where I think it's more prudent to be sort of in the same room with somebody, especially if it's a questionable claim or somebody has a history of giving the I don't remember, I don't know sort of thing over a Zoom. How
would you personally feel about this? If you were in the room and the applicant was there and applicant attorney was there, everybody was in the room except the court reporter was on a Zoom device or something. Would that work, or do you always prefer to be, closer to the court reporter?
I think if we're all there, we should all be there,
right,
including the court reporter.
Gotcha. I don't know. It may make her or his job more difficult, maybe, if they're not there. I don't know.
It would be.
The one thing that I think drives me somewhat crazy in a lot of these depositions that are done remotely is when, and I think we talked about this before, is the you have an interpreter depo. So I'm wherever, applicant's attorney is wherever, the applicant's wherever. And then you have the court reporter who's wherever, and then you have an interpreter who's wherever. So you're talking into a computer, and then the interpreter then talks from his room, translates it. The applicant has to hear it in a completely different room, and then it goes back to the interpreter, and then it comes back out. I think a lot of those depositions are very tricky. My partner actually did a deposition, I think maybe it was Wednesday, and he said the applicant was literally on Zoom, and he could tell she was driving around in her car.
Oh my God.
Doing the deposition. So he called it. He's like, no, this, come on.
Pull over.
It's not only is that completely unsafe, but come on. You're not really you're not ingrained in it, and it's
a bizarre alternative reality we're living in, right?
It's like you can't do that. So I think in those situations, I prefer things to be in person.
Yeah, 100%.
But I know the realities of sort of how it's going right now, and you got to deal with the realities and what the industry is doing, and the industry seems to be doing Zoom, which is fine.
Right.
I have my first in-person trial on Monday, and I'm pretty excited.
That's cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. The opposing counsel wanted to do it over. They use life size in work comp, and I was like, no, let's go down to trial. It's it's AOE COE. I think it's better if everyone's there, and so kind of excited.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
You feeling ready?
I get to put on a suit and everything.
Awesome.
Feel like a grown up
Get to
again.
shave.
I know.
Comb your hair.
I'm shaved now.
No, you are. Yeah.
I'm good.
In board shorts.
No more board shorts that day.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, good luck on that.
Yeah, should be fun. I'm excited.
And these trials are basically one-dayers, or do they ever stretch out into
They can.
multiple?
They can stretch out, definitely. I've had multiple day trials. I think the one on Monday, I mean, if we started on time, we could probably finish in a day, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's lots of multiple
Will the
day
employer and the client and the TPA be there? You think?
The TPA might be there. I think they had some questions on the TPA on denial, so they might be there. But the employer definitely will not be there.
This podcast will be released after all this. But if you wanted me to hold off a little longer, I don't want to reveal any trade secrets.
Oh, no, there's no trade secrets.
Yeah. Okay,
on that particular issue.
Okay, cool.
There's definitely no trade secrets on that.
Hey, why did you even want to be an attorney in the first place? Let's rewind the tape.
Oh, boy.
Or go back as far as you care to.
All right. So are we going back to like diaper era?
In the fourth grade.
Let's do it.
So, So we all know my name is Brent Rose. So I do have a little bit of a semi-quasi-small, interesting aspect of my sort of family lineage, so to speak. Yeah, a little bit.
I love it.
So my family comes from, obviously, a number of generations. My father, his name was Leonard John Rose the Fourth. I was going to be the fifth. My mom said, there's no possible way I'm naming my son Leonard.
There's too many.
So the Leonard lineage sort of start with my father, but my family dates back to, so we were big horse racing family on the East Coast. And so eventually when everybody sort of started coming out west, my family came out west. And we bought with us grass. Literally grass seeds. Grass seeds with them.
Not the surf grass.
Not the surf grass.
Okay.
Not the grass we can find the green X's at on the local corner.
Exactly.
Seed grass, when grass used to be called grass.
Yeah.
So they came out west, and they were big into horse racing, and they set up what was called at the time the Sunnyvale Horse Ranch. Okay. And out here at that time, they didn't have grass horse racing. They did everything on dirt.
Wow.
So they brought out grass, and they sort of monopolized on this grass horse racing, started the Sunnyvale Horse Ranch, and then we founded Rosemead, California.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So we founded Rosemead, California, and my great-great-grandfather, Leonard John Rose, the second. He was Leonard John Rose the second. He was a U.S. Senator, became a U.S. Senator out here. We had a house in downtown on Grand Street. I think it was Grand and 4th. Mm-hmm. And he was a big gambler, obviously, because we were from a horse racing family.
Right.
I'm not saying, there's a disclaimer, not all horse racing families are gamblers. Just want to put that out there.
Right.
It's not what I'm implying. However, he was a gambler, and he liked to gamble. And so he ended up into a sincerely ridiculous amount of debt through gambling, lost the house,
lost the grass money.
He ended up losing a lot of stuff, but what he also lost was Rosemead, California.
Oh.
He put it up in a gambling match or something of that nature. I don't think we'll ever truly know the exact story, but the story goes he put it up into a gambling venture and lost Rosemead, California. So he ended up moving south, and they founded what's now called Pasadena, but it was South Pasadena at that time, so we didn't really sort of co-found Pasadena, but South Pasadena, I guess, technically. Had a house there, lost that house as well. So my family migrated to Catalina Island.
Oh, really?
In 1892. So since 1892, there's been an active living Rose on Catalina Island since that date.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so my grandparents met there. There was a famous explosion with, Zangray. Everyone ever heard of Zangray? The fisherman, Zangray. He had a bunch of property on the island and things of that nature.
What was the explosion on?
It was a boat explosion.
Oh, okay.
It was 4th of July weekend. I can't remember the year. So Zangray and Wrigley were always at it or whatever with each other. They didn't like each other. They both owned property. So my grandmother was actually on the boat next to Zangray's boat that exploded.
Oh, no.
So she spent like a year and a half in the hospital over there. She ended up meeting my grandfather, okay?
Right.
And then my dad was born on Catalina Island. My grandparents met on Catalina Island. My parents met there. Me and my wife met there. My aunt and uncle met there.
On the Avalon side, or
on Catalina Island in Avalon.
Okay.
Yeah. So my uncle is still there. Runs a couple of
bed and breakfast,
couple of buildings and whatnot. So yeah, we have a strong tie to Catalina Island. My dad was born and raised there.
Wow.
He was the second person to ever leave the island to go to college. My uncle was the first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he graduated Avalon High School. His class was 13 people. Graduated Catalina Island High School, went to Santa Barbara, and I think he did 1 year at UCLA, and then he went to dental school in San Francisco. And he was a successful dentist his whole life.
That's awesome.
Hey, back to the rose mead part. What was the mead part added on to the rose? What did that mean anything at all?
No, it was just a name. Didn't want to call it Rose City, so to speak, I guess. So, you know, Rose Mead sort of sounded
Well,
fancy.
it's still called rose mead. So in a way, he sold whatever he sold or lost in that gamble.
The ownership interest of this of the county.
How do you own a county though? As a fast forward now, how would it be different if he hadn't lost or if he had retained it? Like, do those rights still travel forward?
I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if we still owned Rosemead, California. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I suppose you guys would still.
I don't know what I would be doing, but I don't like to think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But
it's super interesting though.
Yeah, wow. It is an interesting story. A lot of people don't believe us, but if you looked in any book of Catalina Island, you know, our name is in there and things of that nature. And there's sort of allegedly, although it's not confirmed, my uncle, who's a big family historian, tells me that there is a loose truth to this story, but I'm not confirming nor denying it. But allegedly, when they used to do the horse racing way back when, they used to take the horses down Main Street with rose petal or rose bouquets around them, and that allegedly is what led to the Rose Parade.
I was gonna say the Rose Parade. That's what I thought. Wow.
But it's a very loose story.
I like that story. Separation. Everything relates to a rose.
It's a very loose story. By no means am I saying that we started the Rose Parade, but there was something to that, from what I understand.
We're gonna continue that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife likes roses, so I think that's she probably is I don't know where I'm going with that. I had a joke and it slipped right out.
I don't know where it was going.
Hey, but speaking of wives, you said you met her on Catalina.
Yeah.
She must have been a tourist though, right?
She was a tourist.
Okay.
I was a tourist at the time. It was 4th of July weekend. I'll never forget this line because she hates it, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I don't care. I met her one night. It's like July 3rd, I think, and all my buddies weren't coming over until the next day. I was down at school in San Diego at the time. I was over there with my parents and whatnot, and I told her, I said, "Have you ever been here?" And she goes, "No." And I go, "Oh, you met the right guy in Catalina."
Let me show you around.
And the rest is history.
Man.
Right? I mean,
how old were you guys around?
I don't know how old we were. So I've been married way too long. No, I'm just kidding. I think I've been married 23 years in June this year.
Amazing.
And we were together 2 years before that, so 25 years.
25 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
She's seen you through thick and thin, huh?
She has. My wife is amazing. I don't know what I would do without my wife. She's definitely the backbone of our family, I can tell you that.
Wow.
She's an amazing mother. I got 2 great kids, 18-year-old son. He's down at school in San Diego right now, and a 16-year-old daughter who plays soccer like there's no tomorrow. And my wife is phenomenal. She's a giver. She's a nutritionist, health person, so she actually sort of changed the dietary requirements for the Orange County School District when my kids were in elementary school.
Really? For the school lunches?
Yeah, changed all the school lunches, went to all the board meetings, changed the school lunches. God, that must have been...
In a nutshell, what were you saying?
It must have been 8 or 9 years ago, I'm guessing. Something like that.
What was the food before, and then what's the food after?
It was just very unhealthy type food. A lot of, sugary snack stuff and things they were giving the kids. Just, a lot of, I think that sometimes in those environments, they just give kids sort of easy ways out, type stuff. So she went in and changed the whole meal plan. She started a running program in Orange County called Marathon Kids. Wow. So what she did was she promoted, tried to get schools involved, and she got quite a few schools involved, where they would get these kids to run a marathon distance at their school. So over the time of the semester, and then the end was during the Orange County Marathon. She's a board member at the Orange County Marathon. They do this big thing the day before. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a great thing to get involved in for these kids, though. I mean, the kids that go and the kids that are like, it's an amazing thing. It gets me emotional even thinking about it, because the kids that come up to my wife and like hug her and tell her thank you,
because they have that
kids
sense
kids that are overweight, kids
it's that sense of accomplishment that they feel they could never do that.
Yeah, so then they end it and they do a run at the Orange County Marathon the day before the marathon.
Oh, wow.
It's the OC Kids Run,
like 5K,
and all these different
5K-ish or something.
I think it is a 5K.
Yeah.
I think they do a 5K and they do like even a shorter one, but all these schools come the day before. It's a really cool thing. And then these kids do like a little shorter little track around the fairgrounds there. And you see these kids that literally, you know, their parents may not be super involved in getting them exercise. They may not be playing sports, you know, they literally like just open up. And so, you know, she was really, really big into that. Kids got older, obviously. So, her involvement is less, but she still is involved as a board director for that OC Kids thing and the OC Marathon. But now she's really focusing on teenage athletes.
Really?
That's her new thing. So she's meeting with this big volleyball club. She's met with my daughter's club and done presentations for teaching young athletes how to be healthy, how to eat healthy, what you should be eating before games, after games, recovery. She does a lot of, it is very important. So that's her thing that she does right now.
Wow.
I think it's great that, excuse me, I think it's great that both of you are very involved. You know, I see, well, on your LinkedIn, you always post things about mental health, which is right up my alley too. And I love it. And so that's why I always support you on that kind of stuff. But can we talk a little bit about why you went through that, especially during COVID, posting a lot about that and
So for me, COVID was it was very traumatic for me. I'm a very social person. I like to feed off of people, like to be around people.
Yep.
You know, when the shutdown happened, you know, I sort of lost a lot of connections with a lot of people and a lot of staff. And my daughter went through a lot. I mean, mental anguish like you've never seen, because you're talking about somebody who's, her level of play is very, very, very high. You know, she's on the, you know, highest team you can be on type thing, and she's communicating with colleges. And during the shutdown, she went from practicing 4 days a week and playing 1 or 2 games on a weekend to nothing.
Yeah.
So you're talking about,
and there's this window of time that's closing at that age, right?
And literally during that shutdown, because my wife was so involved in just my daughter's club alone, like just seeing the kids and the anguish they were going through and the problems they were going through with the mental health side of this, people don't realize how bad the mental health side has. This COVID thing has affected kids. I understand COVID is horrific and there's deaths and everything else, but the mental health issues that these kids went through was horrible. So I was a big advocate for the, you know, let them play movement, which is basically like, look, at the time, the kids were driving, we were going from Orange County or wherever, we live in Orange County, to Arizona just to play a soccer game.
Yeah.
They weren't letting us practice. And at the time, there was nothing suggesting that kids can't get out and be outdoors and things like that. And so I was a big proponent of the let them play movement. We formed rallies. I did lots of TV interviews.
And what were they asking you? Like, how do you feel about like?
Well, the statistics alone. I mean, I didn't come equipped today to really lay out some of the statistics as far as like what the numbers were showing as far as these kids and what was happening to them. But you know, it was just, look, these kids need an outlet. These kids they need mental health. Mental 100%. Health is a very, very, very important thing. Especially when, you know, we were dealing with the female side of it. My son, you know, he was surfing and stuff like that at the time, so it didn't really, he sort of had his outlet, but for my daughter, it was really tough, you know. And
soccer is a team sport. Surfing's not.
It was really difficult. So I appreciate you saying that, because that let them play movement, you know, we got a meeting with the governor finally, and we got the youth sports to open up again. And that was a big thing. I mean, I'm not saying that I was, you know, the person involved in that. By no means. I was, you know, 3,000th on the totem pole below the actual people that were part of that really big movement, but I did my part. You know what I mean? I really stood up for the kids, and I advocated for them, and I think, you know, I think
it's great.
Yeah, we got things going, so.
Yeah.
Man, I thought 2021 would be a lot different than 2020, but it's been has its own major challenges. This year has gone by super fast, right?
Yeah.
It's already in mid-November here.
Yeah.
But for you, has it been like an extended version of 2020? Or?
So, I mean, going back to my LinkedIn post, 2021 for me has probably been the most difficult year of my life.
Even more than 2020 was.
I thought 2020 was a horrible year, but 2021 in my personal life is probably the worst I've ever had. But with that is I am definitely sort of moving in the right direction, and I have a amazing mindset right now. I get to meet people like you. I get to talk to people like you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I sort of make a quick story short. I started off the year, I had a little bit of a cancer scare. That wasn't fun. And then I lost my father, who was like the greatest person I've ever met in my life, who was like the patriarch of my family. He died suddenly from an accident. And
very sorry to hear
that was
that.
yeah, that
Very
was really
sorry.
difficult.
Very sorry.
That was really difficult on me. You know, my mom is one of those women who, you know, just supported her husband her whole life, but wasn't really involved in any of the finances or anything like that. So I suddenly had to start kind of helping my mom a lot.
Wow.
That was really tough. I mean, they were married for 61 years.
What age was your dad?
He was 84.
Okay.
Yeah, he died suddenly of an accident. He fell, hit his head, and it all went downhill. So that was really difficult on me.
Wow.
That was really, really tough. And then just to, you know, make my life even more exciting, I started feeling like a little bit weird body-wise, physically. I don't know how much of this you want me to go into, but you know what? It defines who I am today.
Yeah.
And if people don't want to hear it, I apologize for that. But it's really something that I've been trying to overcome, and it's still difficult to this day. So I started feeling a little weird, a little strange, sort of around Memorial Day weekend. My daughter had left that weekend. She was back in Florida. She plays for a semi-professional soccer team.
Amazing.
So she was back in Florida by herself with her team, and that was kind of stressful for me a little bit. I really wanted to be there, but my son was graduating high school. So obviously his graduation was super exciting.
Right.
I just kind of felt weird on that Friday before the Saturday Memorial Day.
Can't explain it?
Can't explain it. Like, God, something doesn't feel right. Like, what's happening? My wife's like, you know what? It's just stress, Brent. Don't worry about it. Your dad and all that, you know. Your son's graduating, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, okay. My son graduates, probably one of the greatest days of my life, just because that kid to me is like my world. He's such an amazing human being. If you got the chance to meet my son, you would just people just love my son. I love it. He's just such a good guy. Like, he just has such a good heart. So fast forward a week later, I'm like, I don't feel good, babe. Something's not right with me. I was going to the gym, and then I'm just like taking it easy. So she makes me an appointment with the doctor, does a blood test on a Monday. Tuesday, I get my blood results. It ends up he found a genetic defect in my body that I didn't know about. He ran a genetic test, this doctor who was amazing. He saved my life, Dr. Bassi, Newport Cardiology. Thank you very much, sir. Doctor.
Shout out.
Found this genetic defect in my body that we didn't know about. And basically my body was producing like 6 times the amount of calcium it's supposed to produce.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Like your whole life. It's been doing this unbeknownst to you.
I've had the genetic problem my whole life, but he thinks that it suddenly can come on.
Kicked into gear.
Like within the last few years of my life.
Yeah.
So he orders a test. I do a CT test. Go in, do the CT with fluid. He says, oh boy, it doesn't look good. Try to schedule another procedure. I go in for that procedure. This is all within a 5-day period. Go in for that procedure, and they put you under like a twilight sedation type thing. And the doctor's like cancels the procedure immediately. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I just want to go home. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't even care anymore. Like, I just want to go home. I'm done.
Yeah.
They're like, no. It was like something out of a movie. They're like, we have to do emergency surgery right now.
What?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what? And I'm sedated. I'm under what they call twilight for the procedure I just was trying to do, and it's a 2-hour sedation, but I was only at 15 minutes, so I'm like, I know what's going on. I see my wife talking to the doctors. Next thing you know, I wake up at 2:00 in the morning, and I had to have emergency cardiac surgery. They had to replace valves and do a triple bypass. Because of the calcium problem I had, my arteries were like 95% clogged.
Oh.
But it happened so suddenly. Like, literally, it was just like
the day before, pretty normal, fine, and all of a sudden this thing started feeling weird.
I started feeling strange, so I woke up at like 2:00 in the morning. It was like almost a 7-hour procedure.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Woke up, had no idea what had happened.
Thank God for that doctor.
Had no idea what happened. No idea. Zero idea. Woke up in the hospital. Didn't even know what kind of surgery I had or anything like that. And then I was there for like a week. And then just ever since then, it's been really tough on me because it was this really, really, really tough thing to sort of swallow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know what? So I like to tell, I had lunch with a good friend of mine yesterday that his dad also passed within the last few years. And he's a good friend of mine. And I hadn't talked to him really since all this sort of went down. And it was funny. I said, we were drinking waters or whatever at lunch. And I said, I put a water down on the table. And I was telling it, we're talking and things of that nature. And he's like, wow, you sound really positive. He's like, I go, I got to be positive. I have to push forward. I got a lot of people, and I'll get in on that in a second. But I said, I have to be positive because I was really negative for a long time after my procedure. I was just, really down on myself. And
what were you thinking? What were those thoughts?
So they say that, this type of surgery, although it was definitely a genetic defect that my body had that we were not aware of, they say heart surgery is the one that people blame themselves the most for. So it is
my smoking or my eating and all.
It is
my
the
lack of
most depressing surgery you can undergo. If you develop something in your brain, you didn't do anything. It's just, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But it is. If you blow out your knee and you got to get a knee replacement, sometimes it's degenerative or whatnot and things of that nature. But with this particular types of surgery, they say it's the most depressing because people feel as though they played the biggest impact on it, even though it wasn't really lifestyle. But it was. I mean, let's face it. There was a lot of lifestyle choices that played into it, but it was mostly, 90% genetic. So, it was tough.
So that was messing with your head for a while.
It was really difficult. Yeah, it was really, really difficult. So I told my friend, we put down a bottle of water on the table, and you guys, obviously there's no visual, but I'm holding a Perrier bottle, and currently the Perrier bottle that I'm holding is half full, right? The whole glass is half full. So my bottle was probably like 1/4 full yesterday, and I said, I'm not quite a half full guy. I'm still a 1/4 full guy.
Okay.
I said, I'm getting half full, but I'm not quite a half full guy, but I am a half full guy at this point. I've really, once I was able to, I had to take 6 weeks where I couldn't do anything, couldn't work. My partner stepped in, he took over. I had great associates that helped me out during that time in the office and things of that nature, and really helped me with my clients and help the firm and things of that. But I couldn't do anything, and then ever since then I'm full steam ahead.
That's awesome, man.
I'm full steam ahead. I go to the gym at least once a day. I've lost like 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
I work out like a madman now, trying to get healthy. And
you're going to add surfing back into your mix with us.
I do.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you up.
Hey.
Because that's where I'm going. I'm going out to in your neck of the woods now, and I'm going to be out there. If you're out there yesterday, even yesterday,
you could run into each other.
I could have run into you anyway.
Yeah,
awesome.
My son's coming home next week. I'll let him take you out. South side of the pier.
So much is inspiring about what you just said. The whole segment there about, even backing up to the super kick-ass strong marriage.
Yeah.
Great kids.
Yeah.
Your dad passed away too soon. It's always too soon.
Yeah.
But many people's fathers die way earlier than that.
Yeah. No, I know.
And your mom is still here and mobile and stuff. And
you
have a great partner. You have a great firm. Your day job activities are going well, obviously.
Yes.
Then that doctor found the calcium production thing. I was off the charts, found it early enough, and then they and on and on. There's like this great sense of luck, or maybe it's providence. I don't know. How do you feel about like somebody's hand is protecting you? Yeah.
So that's interesting that you say that. So I'm not there. I'm not to the point where I feel lucky about anything that happened to me, even though I get to sit here today and talk and hang out with amazing people like you guys. I'm just not quite there yet. You know what I mean? Like I'm still sort of trying to put everything back together, but I'm definitely doing fantastic. I'm doing great.
Yeah, you look great.
And I realize, yes, you're right. Obviously, something or someone didn't want me to go anywhere, and so yes, I'm here. And I think that I think part of it, of why I want to continue to sort of move forward so strongly is I have a lot of people that rely on me. I have my family, and I consider everyone in my firm to be my family. You know.
Right.
We have great employees and they have families. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to work harder and strive harder to provide so that everybody can have, you know, their life as well, right? Yeah. I've never looked at employees as a number. I look at employees as family, and I do miss the days of going into the office and seeing everybody and hanging out and being able to laugh and going to lunches.
Especially with your personality.
Yeah, you know, we still kind of keep that on. Before I came here, we had a Zoom meeting with all the staff and things, and we do Zoom meetings with all the attorneys, and that's super fun. I like that. I like the interaction. But
hey, though, I think it's super impressive those too that like you're being authentic today and being and saying, hey, I'm not 100% there on like. Everything's rose. It'd be so easy to show up. Oh yeah, I you know, had triple bypass and now I'm all good for another whatever. No, you're being real, and I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, I'm not kidding when I talk about mental health. Mental health is like it's a huge issue / problem. I mean, it really is a very, very, very difficult thing. I mean, I'm living it right now. You know, I never thought I was going to get into the delves and depths of thoughts that I had and continue on. You know, I never thought that there could be sort of light at the end of the tunnel. But, you know, it really taught me in all of this stuff that's happened to me. And I'm not looking for pity from anybody. Trust me. I'm not looking for anybody to reach out to me and tell me, oh, you know, good job, we support you. I'm not looking for that. You know, I look, there is no rear view mirror, right? I got to look forward. If there's a rear view mirror in my life, then I just don't understand the point of life. You know, I just keep looking ahead. But you know, you have to sort of understand the real importance of life. I don't live to work. I work to live. Right. I want to focus on that. That is a very important part of why everybody does what they do every day. I mean, we all work for a means to get to our life. Family is crazy important. Friendships, crazy important. You know, I mean, think about a time where let's just say you go out in this world, and let's just say today you go out and you go and have lunch somewhere by yourself, or you go home or you do whatever, and let's just say you don't interact with anybody, okay? You had a good day, I guess. Nothing bad happened. But let's just say you go out and you compliment somebody, or you interact with another human being that's not on an AirPod, and you talk to them, or you compliment somebody. You know what I mean? You say, hey, you know what? You did a good job today. Or you just, you know, you help somebody or something like that. That is what makes you feel good, right? Yeah. That really makes you feel good.
Yes.
Now, one example I gave you is nothing bad happened. Great. But the other example is you put yourself out there and you try to make yourself and others, because I think we live off of other people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if my daughter gets hurt, I am in a crazy state of depression. If my daughter does something amazing, it makes me happy. And I tell her that she did something amazing, because it's that ability to sort of play off of other people and enjoy the positive nature that we have that really sort of is, I guess, in my opinion, that's why we're here. If that makes any sense. Or that I just sort of ramble over way too many topics there.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, I mean, coming from mental health, a family mental health, and myself going through it as well, I do understand that, you know, one way of climbing over that is reaching out. I thought, you know, when I went through my mental health, I closed down. I was like, oh shit, I gotta back up from everybody. No. And what I realized that,
because they're gonna think you're crazy. Or
yes, I think, and I feel like I'm going crazy myself. So, but the one way that I was able to get out of it was people were reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, I'm going through the same thing, and what are you doing to get over it?" And I'm like, well, nothing. I'm backing up. But what can I do? Oh, here, how about this? Here's some steps that I'm doing right now currently. Yeah. And that I just saw that, woo, man, that put me way ahead of the game. And
like those kids coming up to your wife saying, in tears.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
Of course.
That was the point.
Of course it was. It's changing people's lives. That is, in my opinion, the point that why we're here. You know what I mean? And yes, and to speak on the mental health thing, you know, if you are struggling with it, talk to somebody. There's help out there. There's people you can talk to. Just talking about it right now makes me have a sense of happiness in a sort of a way, right? Because if you sort of, you know, pull it in and hold it in and don't really let people know what's going on, it just it just,
at least for that moment when you're talking about it, it's outside of your head. It's outside of you. Yes. And now you can just
and when you're going through it many times, it's abnormal. You're just a weirdo. You're in your own head, but you normalize it by speaking about it, and that also helps out people to talk to you and talk to other people so they can get help. Yeah. So when you put out, you know, on your LinkedIn about mental health and stuff, that's normalizing the conversation of let's get better. Yeah. And which I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm a big proponent of that. And, you know, when I was going through all my stuff recently and stuff, you know, it blows my mind how many people like reach out to you that genuinely care. Yeah. You know, it's, you know, that people do, I guess, and we sort of live in a texting world and we don't often talk to people probably as much as we should talk to people.
Right.
But, you know, I have a rule. I have a rule. You can text somebody and have a conversation, that's fine. But if you have to text somebody more than 3 times in a week, you got to make a call.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because I just don't think it conveys the same message when you're
I'm so with you on that. I tell my wife the same thing. We say, because she's like, oh, I'm going to send them a message. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what?
It's not the same.
It all depends on how that person feels at that moment. Is that message comes into that same attitude. If they're upset, they might read it a completely different way of how you meant it. So just a phone call, they can hear your emotion, they can hear your voice, and that way you can convey what you're really trying to say.
Right. And interaction. I mean, you know, we're as a human being, I think we're designed to interact with people, right? We're not supposed to be living in this sort of sheltered world, but you know.
Well, I think your half-filled cup is filling up by the inch, by the moment.
Overfill.
Actually, I keep drinking it, so it's going down.
Good for you. Well, we got more. Fill it up. We got more. Fill it up. Hey, you had asked me this, like, how are we able to navigate post-COVID with our clients now? You know, with not in so much a deposition way, but like maybe in the olden days you would be able to go and take your clients to lunch or go see them at events or happy hours and stuff like that. Like, how are you able to do that still and maintain the relationships with the clients, you know, that you would want to?
It's becoming a little bit more difficult, obviously, because, you know, people are all at home for the most part. Right. So, you know, where you used to be able to go by and see some of the people you work with, like at a TPA's office or whatnot, and you used to be able to go in and see them and say hi, and you know, that just doesn't exist anymore. But I think it's changing. Like, you know, I'm starting to notice through our person who's in charge of our marketing, Justin. Shout out Justin. There's a lot more appointments on my calendar and lunches and things of that nature. So I think that, you know, the tides are turning. But during the COVID shutdown, you know, I didn't rely on email. I didn't really, I picked up the phone and I talked to people and I really sort of continued that connection I had with the people at that time, because I think that's you know, there was really only one way you could do it. People were, you know, sheltered in place, so to speak. And so, but now I think things are changing. I mean, I went to the National Work Comp Conference.
Vegas?
Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah. How was that for you?
The participation was definitely way down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be incidentally that the weed convention was right next door to the Work Comp convention. And
everybody was way laid back.
So you could definitely smell the aromas throughout that hotel quite strong. But you could tell attendance was down, but it was fantastic. It was so nice to see people that you haven't seen in a while and get together and laugh and, you know, talk about things that aren't work related in a sense, you know.
Did you exhibit there? Like have a booth?
No, we didn't exhibit. We don't generally exhibit at National just because
the ROI might not be there.
Yeah, right? Well, it's
so expensive.
Just, you know, it's difficult. It's like, hi, you know, where are you from? Oh, I'm from South Dakota. You're like, oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to meet you and all, but we can't really do business together. So
yes, 100%.
We just focus more on the stuff that's more
that was us. Remember, Rick? We we decided to exhibit at RIMS in San Diego, like in 2016. Giant convention. I mean,
ginormous.
We had our little DIY booth next to like $1 million booths, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like you're saying, there's all this traffic. Oh, where are you from? Oh, like Kentucky. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but like, don't grab my sponge thing or something on the table.
Yeah. Put that down. Put that down. You can't win our gift card.
How long have you been here? What's your story, Rick?
My story. I've been in the industry for 22 years.
Okay.
I started working at a copy service with that my mom owned, MicroQuick, which turned into CVC Legal, and a few years ago, 9 years ago. Well, actually,
9 years ago.
Well, so I've been with Todd Olivas for 9 years, but since 2003, 2002, this gentleman walks into our office. We're doing
pointing at me.
Yes, I'm pointing at Todd. Okay. So Todd also owned, at that same time he was doing core reporting, he was doing that kind of freelance stuff. He also owned a web development company. Okay. So he was going to do the web development for my mom's company. And he came in and he spoke to my Uncle Carlos, and Carlos was explaining to him what we do. And he said, well, I know exactly what you do. And it's like, what do you mean? And he says, well, I'm a core reporter as well. He says, well, why don't you start your own agency? And they kind of conversation got going over there. And then Todd started his own agency. We started going out, visiting mutual clients, and became friends. And years later, you know, I was ready to leave Mama Bear, and he said, hey, let's do it. Yeah, it's been awesome. So 22 years, actually more than 22 years. I've been knowing that when you have your own firm, your kids come in and they help you make copies and stuff. So that was me. I would take naps underneath my mom's desk, and just help her out whatever she needed, take out staples or whatever it was. But yeah, that's how I came about this.
In the industry.
Wow. I was born in this industry.
And raised.
Born in the industry. Wow.
Yeah. So it's been fun.
Your journey to become an attorney is what and why?
Oh, so I went to law school, and when I came out of law school, all I wanted to be was a sports agent. That's it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was going to be the sports agent of X Games.
That was my.
That's cool. That was my entire passion. I was racing like downhill mountain bikes at the time. Just loving it, and I was going to go to law school, and I was going to be the next Jerry Maguire of X Games.
Wow, amazing!
Yeah, and
so that didn't happen. So I did a lot of.
Why didn't it happen? It was just harder to crack that.
You know, I don't know. I never really found sort of that niche sort of into it. I kind of got involved really heavily in law school with like the moot court competitions, and I really liked that whole thing of doing these competitions. And me and this guy, it was funny. We developed this team. We beat our whole school, and then we like traveled and did other school and went against other schools. But he was a writer, and I was not the writer guy at that time. You know, he was the hardcore writer guy, but he couldn't talk in public. And then I was the guy that could just talk in public.
Yeah.
So we killed it on that. And then I graduated, and I actually ended up working for my buddy's dad's oil company called Castro Oil.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how I got into that, but...
And now as counsel for them?
I just kind of fell into it, and I was doing their charter parties. So all these ships you guys see out here and all these ships you hear about it, I would write the contracts with the oil company and the ship. They're called charter parties. And so I would write those contracts with the ships, with their guy that had been doing it forever. But it was behind a desk. And I had a buddy that was doing comp. I did that for about 6 months. I had a buddy who was doing comp, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm doing depositions and I'm in court and all this stuff." I'm like, "Oh, wow, that sounds crazy cool. Exciting!" Like I don't want to do this contract work anymore. So I got a job in the industry, and then I worked there for about a year and developed a lot of clients, and then left, and the rest is history.
So that was around 2003-ish?
Oh, boy.
Because you started, it says you started Like a Rose 2003.
I started with that firm probably 2002, like after about 6 months.
Okay.
And then I worked there for about a year, and then came over here. I think it was like in October, I think. Something like that.
So rather quick, you created those relationships, and obviously they like what you did, so
they like your style. They like you.
And then went over, and there was like 3 attorneys, and so we just been working hard.
Did you mention the Justin Norberg?
Yes.
He's your marketer now, right?
Yes.
Is he the first marketer you guys have had?
No. Okay. So we've had marketers. We had a great marketer, and then during the COVID shutdown, I think that it got a little difficult.
Yeah.
And she was amazing. Actually, I had lunch with her last week. We're still great friends. She just, I feel like maybe was a little, couldn't really do much.
Yeah.
And so we mutually sort of stopped that having somebody.
Yeah.
It was her that she came to us, and we're like, yeah, I totally understand. She got back into claims and whatnot. I think, and so we just recently, since everything started kind of getting up again, we decided to
pull the trigger on
bring a new person in.
When you bring a new person in, and he's in the marketing, he or she is in the marketing role, when they are talking to clients that are new, like new leads and stuff like that, at what point do you get brought into it? Because they need to, or is it from the very beginning? Are you there to speak for the firm, talk to the
closer,
the closer, talk about the culture, talk about your ideas behind claims and everything?
So Justin came from outside the industry. He has more of a marketing background,
like real marketing.
Yeah, like great ideas and and knows. He's a very smart guy. So, it took some time to educate him, and he figured, to go over who our clients are and everything like that.
Yeah. And
he has been far exceeding my expectations on things.
Nice.
Really, really, really great guy. We're definitely still involved because I like to be involved, to be honest with you. I mean, I like getting out and
plus I imagine a lot of your business is because the clients meet you, they love your personality, and then and obviously you guys are more than competent, so that's a given, that's the default. But then they choose you because they like you, right?
Well, I mean, our firm is more than me, and it's more than Jim. I mean, we have great, amazing people in it, and we're a very high-tech firm. I guess that's just kind of a lame term to even say anymore. But, the system we work with, we have a staff that really helps our attorneys, which I think is a very, very big thing now. I think a lot of firms are getting away with not using staff as much. The attorneys are trying to
do it all,
to do more. And I think that they're missing stuff, in my opinion. I've heard it from a couple of clients, but, it's the system we've sort of put in place, and then we're constantly educating, teaching people, trying to I had a conversation this morning with one of my attorneys, and I gave him some very, very good constructive feedback, and he was like, "Oh man, that was amazing, thank you." It's just we're constantly trying to do better for our clients. You can't fall asleep at the wheel. So yes, I do like to go on those meetings because I think it's fun. I just love being around and talking to people, but you know, it's more than just me and whatnot. You know, it's the people we have that really.
Would you say, because you had mentioned earlier in this that if you're not giving value, what are you doing, right? You said something like that.
Right.
So that value add to the clients sounds like it's pretty important to you. And
yes.
And part of the value is that you're making sure that you guys are like up with the technology, that your culture is, you know, great, and you got a great team behind you. It's like that self-improvement side of things.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, that you're never going to meet a harder working person than me. Look, you might, but I think you would be really difficult. Yeah. I mean, I learned it from my dad. My dad worked. He was a dentist his whole life. He worked till he was 79 years old, loved his craft. Whoa. He was amazing. He was
literally in people's mouths at 79 years old?
My dad literally is one of the founding dentists that started veneers.
Oh, wow.
What?
That's cool.
Yeah, he used to do lectures and education and everything. He's
like a brilliant guy.
He was a very, very, very smart guy.
Yeah.
I learned it from him. You get nowhere without rolling up your sleeves and working hard. You know,
right.
You just don't. Yeah. There is no substitute for hard work. I'm sorry. I mean, if a lot of the people don't want to hear that, a lot of the younger generation don't want to hear that, there is no substitute for hard work. If you want something, you gotta work for it. So.
And what a great way to have one of the leaders in your company like yourself be, like you said, a hard worker, because you, like you were mentioning earlier, so many people depend on you in your firm, and not only the cases wise, but all their families and everything. So being a hard worker, rolling up your sleeves, it's
a heavy burden.
Yeah.
You know, if you really care about your employees, it's a heavy burden. You know, you're concerned. You're always trying to make sure that you improve things with your employees and whatnot. And so it's not something that I take lightly. It's just not. Family is massive to me. Like family in the work sort of nature of the quote unquote family, but my family, you know, sisters, mom, like that, and my friends that I consider family, that is a huge part of my life. Like there is no substitute in my opinion. There's nothing greater. Yeah.
What would you say is like the biggest challenge of having a firm of your size? I consider you guys big.
We're probably mid-size. I think we're mid-size.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a mid-size firm, then it has its challenges, it has its problems. Like what are some of the biggies that you're have to fix? You're actively working to fix each year or these days?
Well, let's see. Challenges. Well, I mean, it's hard to ignore the challenge that we've all been undergoing for the last 19 months or 18 months. That was a very big challenge. I think that one of the biggest challenges that you can have is just ensuring that people are still connected and motivated and want to do a good job. You know, people can lose interest, but I mean, people lose interest in what they do all the time, right?
Yeah,
and so I think that is probably one of my biggest things is I really want to make sure that people continue to be motivated. And so I really struggle with having those connections with people to make sure that they understand that we're here for them, we support them, and if they're undergoing anything, we're there to help. So I think that is probably one of the bigger challenges now that people are sort of quote unquote working from home type of situations.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know, work-wise, I'm super excited right now about the prospects on the horizon. I really like the direction that the firm is going right now. Finally, we have a really solid direction on what we want to do. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the prospects. I'm excited about the people who work for us right now. Like, it's a good time, you know, firm-wise. You know, we're coming into the holiday season.
I think that glass is filling up faster than we thought it would.
I told you. I told you. And you got to listen. When you talk to people and you interact with people and you have that feedback from people, it really, truly motivates your mental health. It really does.
Isolation is like the death knell of like any mental, because then you're just inside your own little world, and
it's like if somebody comes to you, Todd, and says, Todd Olivas, you guys are the greatest court reporting company out there. I appreciate everything you do for us because you make our life easier. Wow. You provide professional and competent services to us. How does that make you feel?
First of all, we're gonna take that clip and we're gonna put it on our website.
But how does that make you feel? Honestly, when I say that, and I genuinely mean
jump
that.
For
but
joy.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I want to jump for joy, and I want to share it around the world.
Exactly.
And
5 minutes ago, I didn't say that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just one thing that I said to you that resonates with you, and it's like, wow,
words have power for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interaction and words have power. It's a great way to say it.
Yeah. Oh man, we've covered a lot. We covered a lot of the.
I know. I'm very long-winded.
And I'm only pausing now because I know you have a time frame, and I want to honor that.
Yes, I get to do a deposition, not in my office.
You're still good on time,
but I'll be in my office.
Yeah.
I still have time.
You still have time? Okay,
yeah,
good.
I mean, I don't want to.
So we met you recently in person. Because I don't think I had ever met you in person.
I think we've met
a few weeks ago.
I think we've met before at a couple of events and whatnot, and then recently we sort of had more face-to-face time.
Right.
Yeah.
At a great event at.
Those guys are doing something cool over there.
Modern Rain.
Yeah.
Yep. Great guys.
Yeah. Shout out to Josh and Zach.
Yep. Shout out.
That team is awesome.
Yes.
How do you know them, by the way?
I got introduced to.
I mean, Josh is everywhere. He kind of knows everything.
Yeah. So one of my clients, broker client, introduced me to Zach. They were working together. I don't even know how many years ago now. Must have maybe 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I met Zach, and then I met Josh, and it was just one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're super tight.
Yeah.
I have I know their wives and kids and all that kind of good stuff. And me and Zach are really good resonating boards for each other. We bounce a lot of business ideas off each other a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Zach is not that I'm not trying to say Josh isn't. Josh is as well, but Zach is a very brilliant businessman when it comes to the business side of things. And so I'm always learning from him.
Wow.
He says he's learning from me. I don't believe him. But
these are young guys. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I don't know how old they are. But they seem so young and so smart. Yeah. Like way beyond their years.
They are. You know what? It's hunger and motivation. Yeah. Those guys are hungry and they're motivated.
Right.
And they're going to do a great job. They're out there to really make their clients' lives better. It's not a gimmick. Yeah. It's not a slogan. It's not a marketing idea. They genuinely want to make their clients' lives easier and better and more efficient and more savings and everything else.
They've done that for me. I decided to switch over my business insurance over to those guys. Yeah. And some things were up for renewal, like my cybersecurity, whatever I needed for. They saved me a bunch of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Like right out of the gate. Yeah. So they're doing something right over there.
Yeah, they're good guys. Yeah. They're good guys.
I met Josh and I didn't know Josh before this. I saw him on LinkedIn. I friended him. He friended me back, and then I invited him on this podcast. And so from a cold start to hey, this was
did he do it?
2 years ago. Yeah, we did it.
Oh, I haven't even heard that one. I got to hear that one.
That's good. Yeah. He loves to talk, so it was easy to fill the time.
Yeah.
Love you, Josh.
Yeah.
No, and that's how I got to know him, and he was very complimentary after that, like off the record. He said, "Dude, I see what you guys are doing. This podcast thing. It's like a great way to get to know people who you maybe
100%.
wouldn't have known. We wouldn't have sat down probably most likely and talked with you for an hour and a half. I mean, it's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure."
I think it's a great idea. I'm going to steal it. But no.
I did invent it, so just kidding. No.
We could co-host.
I love
just reach out to me at
no, because you have a powerful voice, and you love to talk too, and so you're very affable and easy to talk to. So I think you'd kill it in the podcast space.
Who knows? My wife's starting a podcast. She wants me to go on there, but
really,
yeah, she is. She's in the middle of but sort of putting together this, what I think is an amazing idea for sort of health and well-being of people. Mm. She has a company now called Mina Says Simple Life. It's a website, but
.com.
Her whole philosophy is don't overcomplicate anything, just quit, stop with the fad diets. Just, there's very easy ways to eat healthy, be healthy. And so she's starting a podcast with her friend, and she wants me to go on it. But
well,
I'll listen.
We've we'll subscribe from day one. If she needs it, not that she would at all.
No.
But I like to throw it out, because to get my setup going took me some research and stuff and blah blah blah. But I could easily share with you my setup as it stands.
It's a great setup. There's, I mean, nobody obviously can see anything, but there's like all these like sound foam things everywhere.
Because this room it echoes too much, and it kind of is annoying when you listen back later. But thanks for saying that.
Microphones are super fancy. You know, you guys are we're all wearing black.
Oh, we are black.
Oh boy,
that's because of the health reason. Slims us.
Makes you look skinnier.
So there's been some side benefits to having a podcast, because, to be frank, the first benefit was, hey, this is going to give me a chance to be in front of people who I don't know that well yet. Give them a chance to shine and get to know them. And like Josh is a perfect example of that. And it's a super honor to have yours. But then there's like side benefits too to this, because I'm normally a very introverted kind of person, and I would never.
Oh really? It surprises me.
Speak like this. Because I've been on the quieter side, you know what I mean? So, because I've always hated my voice, or I thought I stuttered, or I don't speak well and stuff like that. From day one, like as a kid, all growing up, I've always had like this insecurity about communicating loud, or in public. But through having a podcast and doing like almost 50 of these, I still have it.
Yeah.
But I've accepted it. Hey, sometimes I stutter. Sometimes I say the wrong word or something dumb. So like, it's been like a cool self-acceptance kind of thing for my mental health.
Yeah.
To do these podcasts.
Yes. And that's interesting, because it's probably a lot of the people in the industry, right? Like, so it's industry people, you talking to industry people, and then you like sort of develop your own sort of tool now that you can sort of communicate with people. You learn, in this business, if you don't pay attention to what other people are doing and how they're evolving and sort of taking notes from them, like being able to speak and do public speaking or run a business and stuff like that, you're really falling behind. Like, there's a lot of people that, like Angela Mudge, I don't know if you know Angela Mudge, ALC?
No,
okay.
I don't.
She has this amazing company. They do they manage claims, and they do auditing and things of that nature. But I have never met somebody, outside of the company that we're talking about, that is so motivated and is so ingrained in growing a business and continuing to sort of push forward. And her business is growing, and she's getting new clients. And you learn from that, right? It motivates you. Like anything you do in this world motivates you to do something else. So if you don't play off of others, then you can kind of sit back and not do anything. But when you start playing off of how other people are doing things, and she like posts a lot of stuff about like these programs she's doing, and it's just very positive, and you're like, oh wow, you like take notice, right? So it's the same with you when you do the podcast. And it teaches you how to speak better. There's other ways too that you can play off of people. You look at what people do. You mentioned, Rick, about the my posts about the mental health thing, right? So you can, oh wow, and there's a connection there. So
right.
I think everything that you do, you can connect with people and play off of people and learn things from them. So that's awesome that you've sort of used this as a tool to change things, because anybody can change and everybody can change.
And when you get to my age, you start to get a little bit curmudgeonly. You're a little bit old. Like set in my ways, less curious.
Man, he keeps talking about how old he is. And
I know.
I feel like I'm like a year older than you, so you're really making me feel like
no, you don't look
crazy
it.
old.
You don't look it. You don't look it. But so like as people age, they become less curious, I think, and curiosity is kind of like a lifeblood, because then you're like this stagnant pond maybe over here. But if you allow in some new channels to come in, you can like be refreshed, you could learn, and it's kind of like with surfing for me, like I told you, I wanted to try something new this year, and I have fallen in love with it.
That's awesome.
Like such a cool thing. And you and I will be out there next.
That's awesome. Good for
Guaranteed.
you.
Yeah.
It's it is one of those things that you do that I like to refer to certain activities as physical and mental.
Yes.
It's a very physical
mind, body,
and mental
soul
activity. It's like hiking too.
Yeah.
You know, when you go for a hike and you're out there in nature, it's physical, but it's also very mental too.
100%. When I'm out there, my troubles stay on the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm out there, and I'm in the moment.
Yeah.
Like never, like I'm never not, like it's unlike any other time in my life, actually, because there's such a cathartic washing of it. Because you're literally like being swamped by the waves, because I suck. But, and like when I get out, I feel so refreshed.
Yeah.
And it's good for my mind, body, soul, everything, just like you're saying.
Yeah,
until you get stung by a stingray, and then you're like, oh,
exactly.
So
no, but I feel the same way when we go surfing. Is just, you know what I feel like, and doing the mental health portion of it, is that the ocean is just so big, and like Mother Nature is just so big and powerful that you just have to be more just more vulnerable to it. You know, you can't overcome that, so you have to just go with the flow and just learn to let that loose, because if not, you know, you're gonna go in that washer machine, as they call it.
I think there's one thing too about surfing that, you know, it's the whole like you know, you have no control. There is no control, right? You're not in control of anything, right? It's all just sort of playing into what you're sort of given. So there's sort of that element to it as well.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a big element to it. So
another element too is like, as I'm sitting out there waiting for a wave, I have prepared. I'm out there. I'm in the right spot, and there's nothing. Just
right.
It's kind of like life. You still have to show up. You can't make the waves though arrive. They arrive when they arrive.
Yep.
And you're there or you're not there.
Yep.
And so, you know what I mean? Like with this business, with my court reporting business, you know, we need to be out there sowing our seeds, but we can't make those seeds grow.
Right.
And many times we think, oh, this one's like as we sow these seeds, like, or this client, it's going to pop for us. And they never do.
Wow.
Or the ones that we scatter out there that we kind of forgot about, but you know, they oftentimes out of the blue will like, whoa, start to fruition.
I like how he just circled that whole surfing thing back to the seeds of getting more business out of court reporting. That was a true talent. That was a true talent, by the way.
He's been waiting for this. Wow. It only took him 50 podcasts.
He's got some notes over there, and I'm not sure if he wrote that down beforehand or what's happening.
He definitely
was
did.
Was it that good? Wow. I got to rewind it. I didn't know what I said. No, but like, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, I get it.
Kind of all.
I'm just making jest of it because it's fun, but no, I totally hear what you're saying. That's it's true, right? I mean, you never know. You just got to keep doing what you're doing, believe in what you're doing, be honest about what you're doing, and work hard, and things will come.
Yeah,
there is no shortcuts.
Amen. That's going to be like the little preview. I always snip out like a little nugget from the body of the interview, and I put it in the front. I think that might be it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
There you go.
Yeah, he has a few. I've seen you do that a few times.
Yeah, little markers I set down.
Yeah.
Did we leave off anything that's important?
I mean, we could talk till 2029, but no, we didn't leave anything off. I think this was really fun, by the way. Yeah. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, same here. We're excited.
Thank you for coming, wasting your time with us.
No, this is definitely not a waste of time. I told my daughter last night, she drives, but I took her to practice last night just because she had like a test this morning and she wanted to like study or whatever, and she was kind of stressed out. So I told her on the way home from practice last night, I said, yeah, I'm doing this podcast tomorrow. And she's like, a podcast? And she's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, I'm doing this cool podcast and I can't wait. And she's like, Dad, don't say anything that's going to embarrass me, please.
Not at all.
And I hope I did.
I hope you did. No. Make sure you do.
Yeah. No.
This has been a pleasure.
This was great. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited.
Me too. We'll release this in the next couple of days and send you a link and all the shareable items on it and stuff. And we'll see. Would you ever come back? Would you
100%
kind of do this again? Check in? Okay.
It'd be fun.
2022's
we got to get
the corner.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to get my business partner in there, Jim Black. I don't know how much time you've spent talking to him, but he is probably one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life.
That's awesome.
He has just this wit and the way, and you have to have him in the room. It's amazing. Jim, if he is in the comfortable situation, it is really, you'll have a lot of fun with that guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got to be our next.
Yeah.
Up here on your next.
But meanwhile, for people that are listening to this and they want to contact you because you've had a lot of shared stories of, and just even being an attorney, how can they contact you? What is best way?
You can call the office. The phone number is 949-435-4260. They'll find me wherever I'm at, and my email is brent@blackandrose.com. Spell out the word and no, it's not a English pub
or a tattoo parlor
or a tattoo parlor or a rock band or
anything.
We always thought about if we switched it, Rose and Black. It's doesn't sound. It doesn't.
That sounds like a wine.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
it just doesn't roll off your tongue.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, you're a blessed man, and I'm grateful for your time today. And
wow,
super honored to have you.
This was amazing, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on the T.O.A. Storytellers podcast. Okay, bye everybody. Hey, it's Todd. I just want to let you know this T.O.A. Storytellers podcast episode is sponsored by my company, Todd, Olivas & Associates. We've been supplying court reporters for depositions since 2003. If you're an attorney and need a reporter anywhere in California, we've got you covered. We're on a lot of preferred vendor panels already, but if we're not on the ones you have, usually a simple inquiry from you to your TPA or employer does the trick. Or if you work at a TPA or employer, please ask your defense attorneys to give us a try on one of your files. We've been known to treat our clients like family, and we would love a chance to work with you next. To schedule a deposition, simply call 888-566-0253 or visit www.toddolivas.com. That's www.toddolivas.com. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you at your next deposition.